on top of all of this, so right, we have the whole funding mechanism that's happening, Pasta, with where we have people literally on the streets, as you always point out. We have a war machine, though, that's getting very, very wealthy off of this conflict between Russia and Ukraine, this proxy war that the United States is waging against Russia via Ukraine. And the Squat and progressives all voted, pretty much the entire Democratic sector voted to expedite funds for these essentially Nazis, because that is what's left of the Ukrainian military. And the ones that don't want to be a part of that are either killed or they're threatened. I've posted other videos of how they have talked about this. So this is the title of the bill is Senate Bill or SB or S3522, and it's providing for consideration of the bill Ukraine Democracy Defense Lend-Lease Act and for other purposes. And you guys can see the final voting results for a roll call vote. And the Democrats are in Roman, Republicans in italic, independents are underlined. So 220 yes, 205 nays, and there was 4 people that did not vote.
Was it all along party lines?
It was pretty much along party lines. I think there might have been like 1 or 2 Democrats, but I highlighted a lot of the yeahs here because I wanted to point some of them out. You guys can see Bauman, Bush, Castro, Jayapal, Khalili, the one that replaced Tulsi, Rokana, Ocasio-Cortez, Omar, Katie Porter, Mark Pocan, Ayanna Pressley, Adam Schiff for Brains. You have also, I don't know who that is, Lamb. You have Lee, Barbara Lee, Levin, California, Lou. You have Newman, Marie Newman. You got Brad Sherman. You got Adam Smith. You got Salwell, Talib, and the Torreses. You got Wasserman Schultz, of course, and Waters. So
yeah, it's all party lines. All the Democrats, all the Republicans. Not one Republican, crossed across the line. Not one Democrat. Just four of them just abstained courteously. But yeah, I mean, who's the warmongers now, fam?
Right. What is happening, right? And like again, you in the Senate you have the usuals like the Mitch McConnells and all of them always being voting for more war in line with a lot of these warmongering Democrats. But it's really strange to me that in this case, it seems to me that the Republicans turned out to be less of imperialists when it comes to at least this vote. So the overall summary of this bill is that, and this bill, by the way, passed the Senate on the 6th of April. So it temporarily waives certain requirements related to the president's authority to lend or lease defense articles if the defense articles are intended for Ukraine's government or the governments of the other Eastern European countries affected by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. For the fiscal year of 2022 and the fiscal year of 2023, an agreement to lend or lease defense articles under this bill shall not be subject to certain requirements and provisions that typically apply to such lend-lease agreements, including a requirement that generally prohibits a loan or lease period from exceeding 5 years. So they're not subject to any of this. So this can exceed 5 years. They're not subject to any sort of process that normally happens. So Biden can just expeditiously and just completely unilaterally decide, hey, we're going to give this much to Ukraine. Boom, let's pass it through, right? Let's get this through. And it says right here, the president must establish expedited procedures to ensure timely delivery of defense articles loaned or leased to Ukraine under this bill. So this is a must, right? And as I said, it's S3522 and it's an act. And we've talked about that. And yeah, it's called or cited as the Ukraine Democracy Defend Lease Act of 2022. And you guys can see the formal written course of it. And it's pretty much, again, Joe Biden has pretty much full authority to just give this. And they're using this, of course, the fact that it is the invasion of Russia in Ukraine. So
yeah. And, there are all the selling points out there, they're trying to use to sell the whole situation. If we don't stop Putin now, what's next? What NATO country next? Poland, you know what I'm saying? Lithuania, where's he going to go next? Even as far as to say, Russia shares a border with Alaska, the United States and stuff. And like all the scare tactics, we have to stop them now. We have to do this. If we don't do it now, forget about it. We don't need troops on the ground. We just need a bunch of money. It's a Ponzi scheme. They're just literally fleecing the Treasury Department. Instead of giving it to the people, they're giving it to the military industrial complex, because it sure as hell ain't going to our military. The service members and all that kind of thing, because they're left high and dry. But fam, why do you think it is that all the Republicans voted nay, but all the Democrats voted yay?
I honestly think it's about the money. I think they don't see as any sort of gain to be made. They just see it as a waste of money. And a lot of people that are not in like the leadership of Congress, but just people in general who are, conservative or Republican, a lot of them are on the side of not giving money to Ukraine because they see that America needs money, because that's the mentality of a lot of conservatives. Classically, it's like we need to help America, put America first. That's the whole mentality, right? And so it kind of makes sense in that regard. But yeah, it's interesting to me too, because I think I had it in my tweet, but it might be down there. Yeah, I think it is down there. So we can move on, Oz, too, because we already pretty much went over it. We pretty much went over everything. But Republican Congress members like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie isn't a surprise because he's more of a libertarian-minded guy. Yeah. But Marjorie Taylor Greene has defense money, so it's interesting that she voted against the measure. And I'm not saying all Republicans are all anti-war. I'm saying in this case they have out-lefted the left in terms of anti-imperialist voting records. And by the way, every time I point this out to AOC's sycophants and all her supporters, all these Bernie progressives, whatever, they never address this at all. They completely just stay quiet. They don't address it. They act like it didn't happen, or they completely say, well, they're just trying to help Ukraine and they just voted through the party lines. This is like a split vote. They didn't need a party line down the line. Like they didn't, like their votes weren't needed. They could have made a statement and said no, and they didn't. Yeah,
they had wiggle room, but you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. I think the Republican voters are done with like giving so much money. Yeah, you might classify it as the America First kind of thing. But even as a person who's not a conservative, I'm sick and tired of sending money all over the world to propagate war and to help corporations. I'd rather spend that money at home too. So does that make me conservative? No, it doesn't. This is a ridiculous thing. And the problem is that the virtue signaling works on the progressive and liberal voters. You know what I'm saying? They live in this kind of like fantasy land of sorts. So, there's the cloak of virtuosity. Oh, we got to stop the murderous Putin. Oh, he's killing women and children. Well, how about you just look about what happened in 2014 over the last 8-9 years in the Donbass, and what's going on in Syria to this day, and Yemen to this day, in Libya to this day. It's like, the virtue signaling works, and the TDS combined with the CDS has really warped their brains to go complete team sports mentality.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we're living in a world where the establishment made up of the two-party system and people in both parties and the national security state apparatus, the State Department, the Mickey Matt, as Steve and Gloria like to call it, has turned liberals, leftists, who call themselves leftists, right, progressives, all these people, has turned them into cheering for war and cheering for Nazis. And it's crazy that you have somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene and even Crenshaw, I see on the list. Crenshaw, we have here, if you just want to show it real quick, you can see the list of Boebert. You got Crenshaw, you got Cawthorn, the one that gets, made fun of all the time. I know that these people focus on these Republicans, like we don't cover that, where they have like videos of Cawthorn who dresses a girl or whatever. I don't even know. Like this is the things they cover, and I'm just like, what I don't even, but I know that they get made fun of, but these people voted to not give money to fund like Nazis. So, hey, guess what? They've outlefted your squad, your progressives in this vote. And I don't care how you twist it or what you say. I mean, that is what happened, right? That is what happened.
If we're looking at paper, we're looking at numbers, you're damn straight. The only other option, too, fam, is if this is the theater that we sometimes think it is, where Congress is completely bought. It's just the total like, okay, you can all vote no against this because they're going to all vote yay, so we know no matter what. And you can now campaign off making sure you can bring the money home instead of spending it off season. It could be all theater, right? Because we understood that, where the majority lies. So, I mean, I
think a lot of it is, Pasta. I think you're right. I think a lot of it is. Yeah. But I also think there are people that are actually against throwing money to war. And I definitely think Massey is one of those people.
Oh, yeah, those libertarian-minded people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, Niko had a really great tweet, and he said 33 billion to the Ukraine. Oh, he said the Ukraine, Pasta. People can't put food on the table. Rent's gone up. Housing prices have gone up. Raises have almost gone down when accounting for inflation. They absolutely have gone down. We're having supply shortages across the board. We're also having the burning of the random plants. But we have 33 billion to spend on Ukraine, but not U.S. citizens. I mean, it's ridiculous here. And this is the perspective, of another person that I know is not a conservative. But here we go. Like what any normal human being that doesn't even pay attention to politics is going to ask themselves, hey, why are we throwing so much money away into this conflict that has nothing to do with us? It's literally a world away. Right. And why is this an important thing? And I think more people are realizing that this is why the censorship has ramped up, because they see that word is getting through independent media. More people are like questioning what's going on, and they're failing with with what you've seen happen with Disney and CNN Plus. They're failing to really continue the brainwashing as efficiently as they used to. So they have to attack whatever is a threat. And that's what they're doing now. They're attacking those of us that are threatening their narrative. And they're going to continue to do that. They're going to continue to vilify every single one of us. And brace yourselves. If you do this work, you do not do this work because it is easy. It is, glamorous, because it makes you some sort of celebrity. You do this work because you really want to get the truth out there. I mean, that's why you should be doing it. And it's gonna get ugly, and it's gonna get worse, I think, before it gets better.
Ditto, definitely.